Balance. Thank you guys for joining us. I wanted to come on really quickly and share with you guys what's going on with the student loan limited public service loan forgiveness program. I know that some people are like wondering, is the program going away? Is it ending? If it's ending, how does that affect you? How does it not affect you? If you've already applied in the past, do you not need to do anything? Do you need to do anything? I'm going to answer all those questions here. So again, welcome to Define Balance. Here we help you. Well, actually, we don't help you. We work together to just go through things that we encounter in our everyday life. And right now, student loan are definitely top on the list. So I just wanted to come in. I wanted to make sure that I shared this information with everyone because of all people, I don't want people who went to school and who for the most part struggled, who may be in a working class right now and just want to figure out how they can get this burden of student loan debt off of your back. And I've heard a lot of people say things like, I don't believe that it's really going to be wiped away, or I've already applied and I don't need to do anything. Well, I just want to clarify all of those things right now, because right now we have one of the biggest opportunities to basically change our net worth, change our financial situation, where we are right now based on what we do within the next 31 days. Because the deadline ends, like the hard deadline for the limited waiver is October 31st, 2022. So if you have student loan debt and you will not be covered by the simple $20,000 that they're going to give out for Pell Grant recipients, or the $10,000 that's going to be given for individuals who are not Pell Grant recipients, and you have more than that, and you have student loans that will still be outstanding, and you are a person who works for a government agency, whether it be city, state, or federal, or you work for a non-for-profit agency, please listen up. Listen up right now. The waiver for the public service loan forgiveness requirement have been waived. A lot of those requirements, and this change was made on October 6th, 2021. A lot of people were either clueless or confused about how this affects them. And because they were clueless, they did nothing. And I was like one of them. What am I trying to say? I also was one of them who did nothing for almost a year. I just started really researching and working to understand all of these things this month. It's September 29th. I just started working on these things about 2 weeks ago and learning what I needed to learn to make sure that I could take advantage of these opportunities myself. But I realized that a lot of people are not going to take advantage of this opportunity because they're not sure what it entails. And it's going to be a big mistake. And a lot of Black and brown people are going to miss this opportunity. And that's why I created this video, because I wanted to make sure that I shared all the information that I know, so that everyone who at least watches my videos can learn what they need to learn, so that they can take advantage of this opportunity. Under the normal PSLF requirements, you receive credit only for direct loans. Under the limited waiver, You receive credit for periods of repayment on direct, FFEL, or Perkins loan. So that's basically any federal loan. You will receive credit anytime that you're in repayment. So, for example, let's just say I graduated in 2009 and I took a year off of school and went back to school. From after the 6 months that I receive a grace period being out of school, and I went into repayment status. From that time until I started school again, I received credit for payments because I was working for a state agency, which is government. Now, the 2 years that I was in school from 2010 to 2012, I did not receive credit because that was called in-school forbearance or deferment. You do not get credit for that. So, under the PSLF requirement, the normal requirement, repay under, like, you receive credit for standard income driven repayment program, which is the standard 10 years. Again, like I just shared, periods of repayment under any plan count towards your loan forgiveness on the waiver, the limited time waiver. So meaning if you graduated in 2013 and you have loans today, from the time that you graduated and that 6 months grace period was up till now, all of those months that you were in repayment status, whether you made a payment, whether you did not make a payment, as long as you were in repayment status, you will actually get credit towards your loan forgiveness on this waiver, as long as you were working for a state, city, federal agency, or nonprofit. All right, under the normal standards, only on-time payments were counted towards your 120 payments. On the limited waiver, periods of repayment on loans before consolidation count, even if on the wrong payment plan. So, on the normal standards, you have to consolidate your loan and you cannot get credit for any time or payments that you've made prior to consolidating. So you lose like credit for all of that time that you've been paying. So say, for example, I graduated in 2009. I didn't get on a repayment program or an income-driven repayment plan program until 2018. So any payments that I made prior to 2018 did not count towards my loan forgiveness. However, under this waiver, all of those payments that I've made and any time that I was in repayment status, I received credit for under the waiver. Okay? It said that you work full-time for a qualified employer in order to receive credit. That standard has not changed. Periods of repayments, this is under the limited waiver. I probably should have just did one and did the other and explained it, but I'll go back. If you have any questions, if you need me to do a follow-up video, I will. Periods of repayments where payments were late or less than amount due also count under the limited time waiver. So in the past, like for example, say your payments were like $500. I remember at one point my payments were like $500. I couldn't afford $500. So I would send, say, like $150 because that's what I could afford at the time. Under the normal standards, that payment wouldn't count. One, because it wasn't the full amount, and two, because it wasn't what they asked for. So that's probably the same thing, but whatever. So like I said, any payment that you've made, even if it's less than a full amount, it also counts. If you got teacher forgiveness, the period of service that led to your eligibility cannot also count towards public student loan forgiveness. So for example, if a teacher works for the school system that is in an area where they qualify, which is crazy because if you're a teacher, period, you think that you just qualify. No, you have to work in a distressed area for at least a certain amount of time. I want to say it's like 7 to 10 years. Then they will pay, I want to say it's $17,000 towards getting your loans erased. However, the average teacher does not just go to undergrad, they may go to graduate school. So they may accumulate more debt, and therefore, under the public service loan forgiveness original program, the time that they spent doing public service, that 7 to 10 years that they spent as a teacher that qualified them to get some of their loans erased, does not also count towards their 10 years for their public service loan forgiveness. So in all, a person who is a teacher may have to do an additional 10 years or whatever because the time that they got towards their original loan forgiveness does not count, or their original teacher student loan forgiveness does not count toward the public service loan forgiveness program. That's crazy, right? So, can get under the waiver public, the public student loan forgiveness waiver, periods of repayment on loans before consolidation count, even if late or less than the due amount, can get forgiveness even if not employed or not employed by the qualified employer at the time application and forgiveness. That's another thing. Literally, if you are a person who, say you worked in public service your whole career and you heard about this program from a friend and you applied, even if you had 10 years of service and 120 payments towards your loan, if you were not currently employed by a government agency or non-for-profit at the time that you apply for the public student loan forgiveness program, if you were not employed by one of those agencies at the time that you apply, they did not forgive your loan. So you had to be employed at the time by one of those agencies that qualify at the time that you apply, which is completely mind-blowing because life happens, right? And so under this program, you don't have to be employed at all at the time that you apply if you have in the past have 10 years or more of service in a government or non-for-profit, and at least have 120 payments towards your student loan. And again, those payments you get credit for anytime that you're in repayment status. So anytime you're in repayment status, meaning you work for a nonprofit, city agency, whatever type of agency, from 2012 to 2022. You made some payments towards your student loan, but say you were on forbearance or deferment, or say you were on a repayment plan. For whatever reason, you didn't make some payments. You will actually receive credit towards every single month in which you were in repayment status. I want you to go online to studentaid.gov, and I want you to check your account. Find out who your servicer is, and log on to their website, and you can actually see how many qualifying payments you have. What does that mean? What does qualifying payments mean? There's a difference between payments that you made and qualified payment. If you have made payments, or you've been in forbearance or whatever, and you work for these type of agencies, I suggest that you apply for this program immediately, because you are going to be able to possibly walk into debt freedom immediately at the start of the year. All you need to do is receive and like go online and type in limited public service loan forgiveness form. You can get that form signed by each employer. Now, make sure you get every field signed and filled out. Make sure you fill out all of your part. There's going to be a section on there where you're going to have to put your information. Make sure you fill that out in its entirety. There's going to be a box that says, do you believe that you qualify for loan forgiveness right now? Check that one. There's going to be another one that say, do you believe, like there's 3 boxes. Check the first 2 boxes. I want to tell you what it says because I don't have it in front of me, but it's important that you fill out these forms in its entirety. And the reason why I say that is because if you do not fill out these forms in its entirety, it will be rejected. You will not receive the forgiveness. And on the other side of this error, because that's what I'm going to call it, an error, on the other side of this error, you're going to be wondering why or how you didn't know this information. So I have it. I hope that you can see it. This is what the form looks like. So you want to make sure that you fill out all of this. It says your social security number. You need to fill out, you need to fill out this form in its entirety. You want to, why isn't it open, y'all? Okay. You want to put your entire date of birth, your entire social security number, your name, your full address, your city, your state. You want to, your primary number, your email, I would check this box. It's a box up here that says, right here, if any of your information changed, just check it just in case, because you don't want them to look in the system and there's another address on file, or there's another phone number on file, or there's another email on file, and they say, oh, they didn't check this box, send it back. Because we just don't want to do that. We don't want to run into any of those problems. There's there's 3 boxes right here. Do you see it right here? 1, 2, 3. The first one says, I just want to find out how many qualifying payments I have made, or if my employer is a qualified employer. The second one, check that one. The second one says, I believe I qualify for forgiveness under the PSLF or the temporary PSLF right now. Check that one. The third one says, if indicated that I believe I qualify for forgiveness now, I want to go into forbearance while they check it out. Do not check that one, because you're going to be still charged for, like, say it comes back and you don't have all the payments you need. Well, you don't want to be charged, like extra interest while you're in that forbearance period, when you could be actually closer to the line, but you're not at the line. But I wouldn't check that if I was you. You could do it if you like, but I just want to make sure that you guys have the most information to make the best decision. And then at the bottom, you need to sign it and date it. Sign it and date. Wet signature. Okay? Then the second page, at the top, you want to put your full name and your social security number. Let me tell you how easy it is to forget this when you're doing so many of them at one time. So just make sure that you complete that out. You put your employer's name, whether it's your past employers or your current employee, you put their name, their EIN number, their address, their website. You put when you started, when you in, whether you're still employed or not, whether you're full-time in hours, and then whether it's a government agency, number 9, whether it's a government agency, yes or no. If it's yes, you skip to section 4. This is where you have the employer to sign it in its entirety. Fill it out, sign it, date it. Make sure you keep a copy of this for yourself. Even if they're going to send it themselves, please ask for a copy so that if something happens on their side, you have your record to just confirm that you've had this form filled out. Okay? If they're not a government agency, then you're going to go over to number 10. And if it's a non-for-profit, say yes. If so, you skip all of this and they're filling this out, this bottom part. Once this has happened and you have all of these forms filled out, what I was told was to upload all of them as one file onto the services website. I was doing it one by one, but like I told you, I made so many mistakes that I had to go back and upload all of them as one, but upload them as one file. Listen, y'all, I don't want us to be late to the party again. There's so many programs out there. There's so much information out there, and a lot of times we either don't understand what's going on, we don't understand like how it benefits us, how to even get started. So I just wanted to do a video because like I want to scream to the mountaintops so that everyone can understand how big of an opportunity this is for someone who has nearly 6 figures of student loan debt. This is going to put me in a different, it's going to change the trajectory of my financial situation. So I just definitely want you guys to know that The waiver ends October 31st, 2021. Do not wait until the last minute. You don't know how long it's going to take you to track down your employer. You don't know how long it's going to take for you to get certain forms done. You don't know if there's going to be an error on your form, if they're going to tell you that you need to get something done. And what I believe a lot of people are going to run into at the last minute is something's not going to be completely filled out, or there's going to be an error, or something's not going to be clear, and it's going to be denied, and you're not going to have time to get it submitted again before the deadline ends. Listen, we don't know if other presidents going forward are going to give us this opportunity. So I definitely suggest that you do this. Fill this out. If you are a person who have worked in a public service fashion during any time of your career, get this information certified. Like, why not? You choose to work in service because you have a heart for people, and it's finally been acknowledged. I think that it's so important that we get out here and we do what we got to do to make sure that we can take advantage of this opportunity. The last thing that I wanted to say is also in a couple days, that I want to say it's the 29th. In a couple days, they're going to come out with this form for the $10,000 and $20,000 towards the one-time debt relief that they're offering. Please fill out those forms. Please look out for those forms. It is important that we be about our business. You know, black, brown, white, like, I just think that, like, if you know someone that knows somebody that knows somebody that has student loan debt, don't take for granted that they know this information. Share this information. Make sure that they are aware of how this program works. Make sure that they do the form. This is so important, you guys. Like, I like telling everybody, telling strangers in the street. And I was like, listen, I have a YouTube channel, and I think that I should just share it because there are many key points, and a lot of times people just don't understand it. It's so much information. I think the other night I was up until like 2 a.m. just strolling and strolling and strolling through stuff because I wanted to understand everything about it. So, quick recap. For a limited time, you're able to receive credit for past periods of repayments on your loan that would otherwise not qualify for public student loan forgiveness. If you have a FFEL program loan, federal Perkins loan, or other federal loan, you need to consolidate your loans into a direct consolidation loan to qualify for public service loan forgiveness, both in general and under the new limited time rules described on all the studentaid.gov website. Okay, before consolidation, make sure you check to see if your past work qualifies as a employer that you actually could work for and receive the public loan forgiveness. Again, state, city, federal agencies, and also nonprofits. Okay? All right. Past periods of repayments will now count whether or not you made a payment. Did you hear me? You will get credit for any time that you've been in repayment status, whether or not you paid 1 red cent or dime. Okay? Um, Whether the payment was made on time, in full, not made, just as long as you were in a repayment status. Okay? Forbearance periods for 12 consecutive months or greater, or 36 cumulative months or greater, will count under the waiver. If fall 2022, it will begin making count adjustments for these periods. Forbearance periods under the COVID-19 emergency relief flexibility, they say it won't count towards the payments, but when I talked to the lady yesterday, she said as long as you're working for a qualified employer, you will get that time. Okay? Months spent in deferment before 2013 will count under the waiver. So they're going back. They're going back, y'all. So make sure that you definitely take advantage of this. Additionally, it will include economic hardship deferment on or after January 13th. So any hardship deferments that you've taken, those periods where you made no payments will also count towards this free payment. Okay? All you need is 120 payments. If you've been out of school for over 10 years and you've been working for a non-for-profit or federal, state, or local government, you may be on the other side in January thanking God, Allah, Buddha, whoever you pray to. Okay? So just make sure that you take advantage of this, guys. I just don't want us to be late for the party again, as we are for everything else. Especially us young people. Like, we'd be like, all right, I know I already applied for that program before. I don't care. If you already have an application with the Public Student Loan Forgiveness Program, you need to certify your employment. You can't just do this application one time and be like, oh, I'm already in that program. It don't matter. No, I need you to certify all your employment. If you did the application back in 2016, guess what? They probably don't have your employment from 2016 to now. Under this waiver, you want to make sure that you get credit for everything that's due to you. And even if you think that you're good, I would submit a new form from all of your employment. Anyway, just in case. It's better safe than sorry. It's better to have everything and submit too much than to submit too little. And on the other side of this, wonder, how did I miss this opportunity? How did I let this go by? Oh, I let it go by because I thought that I already was receiving credit for this. I thought that I already submitted a form. Why do I got to do this again? I was on the phone with a friend yesterday, and she was like, oh, I applied for that years ago. And I work for the government, so they certify our stuff automatically. No, they do not. Even if you are a federal government employee, you need to get your employment certified and submit it on the portal. ASAP, guys. Please, 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 please. I can tell you that this is an opportunity that I'm so thankful for. Even as a Pell Grant recipient, even with the $1,000, once I apply and get qualified, I still will have like over $50,000 of student loans. So I am begging you guys to get about your business. Make sure that you take advantage of this. Make sure that you find out everything you need to know. Like I said, you must make 120 qualifying payments or the equivalent to receive federal debt forgiveness. But again, Under this waiver, the qualifying payments is any time that you are in repayment status. You have to be employed by a government, 501c3, or not-for-profit organization, providing quality services, working full-time. And this actually says whatever your employer's definition of full-time, or at least 30 hours a week, whichever is greater. So just look online for the answers to those simple questions that you need. How much do you owe? What type of loans do you have? Do you have any qualifying payments? What is needed for you to receive this forgiveness? And do it. Okay. If you have any questions for me, I know this was kind of long-winded. I just don't want us to miss out on this, y'all. I don't want us to miss out on this. So, thank you guys for joining us here for the Fine Balance. Please check back, and definitely making a promise to do more content. But I just want to make sure. Look, I only had the idea set up. I didn't care. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know what's up and that you do not miss this opportunity. After October 31st, the regular standards for the public student loan forgiveness will go back into effect, and everyone who received the you know the credit for under the waiver will, be a little closer to forgiveness. But like I said, no, the program isn't going away. This limited time waiver, we may never see anything like this again, as we didn't think we would see anything like the pandemic either. And it's because of the pandemic and the fact that we were under a state of emergency, that they were able to enact this for us so that we could get just a little closer to that goal. Okay? Thank you guys for joining us. I'll see you guys soon. How do I stop it?